July 4th, 1997. While the United States is busy celebrating Independence Day, a black Mercedes pulls up to the Santa Monica Hospital in Mexico City. Out steps a man who looks utterly unremarkable. Middle-aged. Average height. The kind of face you would forget 5 seconds after passing him on the street. But this man is not average. He is the most wanted criminal on earth. His name is Amato Carrillo Fuentes. To the DEA, he was a ghost. But to the criminal underworld, he was El Señor de los Cielos, the Lord of the Skies. He did not just move cocaine. He owned an entire fleet of Boeing 727 seconds that acted as a private airline for the Juarez cartel, accumulating a net worth of $25 billion. Today, he is not here for a business meeting. He is checking in under a false name to undergo a total physical transformation. He wants a new jaw. He wants 30 pounds of fat removed. He wants a face the world has never seen, but at 3:17 p.m. the monitors flatline. The surgeons panic while the bodyguards, armed to the teeth and securing the entire floor, stand frozen. Their boss is dead. Or is he? In today's cybercrime documentary, we are not just looking at the blood and the money. We are looking at the ultimate disappearing act. We are going to explore how a man with the resources of a nation-state can manipulate identity, delete his digital footprint, and potentially fake his own death so perfectly that even his enemies believe it. I am the digital sleuth. And this is the mystery of the man who conquered the skies and then vanished into thin air. To understand how Amato could potentially disappear, you have to understand how he built his empire. He was not just a thug. He was a master of logistics. Born in 1,956 inches, the dust of Sinaloa, Amato was a star student of the criminal university run by his uncle. While his peers were learning how to shoot guns, Amato was learning how to build systems. By the early 90s, the drug trade was a mess of slow-moving boats and risky truck routes. Amato looked at the sky and saw an exploit. He bought an entire airline. We are talking 30 Boeing 727 seconds. Let us look at the math because the numbers are what make this a nation-state level operation. Each 727 can carry about 6 tons of cargo. At the time, the street value was roughly $100 million per flight. Amato was not flying once a month. He was flying weekly. In 48 hours, he could move $500 million in product. But here is the digital sleuth angle. Amato was a pioneer in what we now call obfuscation. In the modern world of cybercrime, hackers use VPNs, onion routing, and proxy servers to hide their location. Amato did this in the physical world. He rotated pilots constantly so that no one person knew the full flight path. He bribed air traffic controllers so his ghost flights would disappear from radar entirely. He understood a fundamental rule of security. Invisibility is the ultimate shield. By 1997, he was spending up to $3 million a week just on bribes. That is $150 million a year to keep the system bent in his favor. He even had Mexico's top anti-drug official, General Gutierrez Rebollo, on his payroll. Imagine if the head of the FBI was secretly working for the world's biggest hacker. But in February 1997, that shield shattered when the general was arrested. Suddenly, the Lord of the Skies was visible on every radar in the world. He tried to buy asylum in Russia, Cuba, and Chile. But everyone said no. He was a man with $25 billion, and nowhere to hide. So he decided to delete his user profile entirely. The plan was the ultimate reset. He would walk into a hospital as Amato and walk out as a complete stranger. We know the official story says he died of surgical complications. But as a digital sleuth, when I see a system crash this convenient, I look for the bugs in the narrative. 4 months after his death, 2 of his surgeons were found on a highway between Mexico City and Acapulco. They had not been killed quickly. They were tortured, their fingernails ripped out, and then their bodies were encased in steel drums filled with concrete. Why kill the doctors if it was just a tragic accident? In the world of dark web scams and identity theft, you kill the person who knows the private key. If Amato was still alive with a new face, those doctors were the only people who could identify him. Then there is the body. Photos of the corpse in the morgue were released and the anomalies were glaring. Amato had a famous natural white streak in his hair, but the corpse had solid black hair. Amato had childhood scars on his shoulder, but the corpse had smooth skin. Authorities also claimed a DNA match within 48 hours. In the 90s, a reliable DNA profile took weeks, not days. This brings us to a tactic often seen in major phishing attacks and high-level fraud: the decoy. Did Amato find a body double with a similar build, put them under the knife, and then flatline them on purpose? It sounds like a movie. But for a man who moved 60% of the cocaine entering the United States, it was just another business expense. And then there is the toy airplane. Amato always carried a small toy plane as a lucky charm. Weeks after his funeral, that toy plane reportedly appeared at his girlfriend's villa in Chile. Is that a ghost's calling card? Or was it a signal to his inner circle that the Lord of the Skies was still flying, just under a different tail number? Amato Carrillo Fuentes used physical violence and billions in cash to hide his identity. But in the modern era, the disappearing act has moved from the operating table to the fiber optic cable. Today's Lords of the Skies are operators behind internet mysteries and financial fraud mechanics. They do not need Boeing 727 seconds. They use botnets. As we analyze this case through the lens of a cybercrime documentary, we have to recognize that identity is the most valuable currency we have. If a billionaire drug lord was willing to cut his own face off to protect his identity, what should you be doing to protect yours? Here are the digital sleuth's top protocols for preventing modern identity theft. First, MFA is your bodyguard. Just as Amato had guards on every floor, you need multi-factor authentication. Even if a hacker gets your password, they cannot get past the second door without your physical device. Second, scrub your metadata. Amato was caught because his shield fell, and you are often exposed by the digital footprints you leave on social media. Use tools like EXIF Purge to clean your files before uploading them anywhere. Third, monitor for ghost profiles. Use services like Have I Been Pwned to see if your data has leaked onto the dark web. Identity thieves often reconstruct your profile using leaked info long before they strike. Finally, the paper trail rule. Amato's downfall began with a paper trail of bribes. In the digital world, use encrypted messaging, like Signal, and hardware wallets for your assets to ensure your flight plan remains private. Was Amato Carrillo Fuentes the victim of a botched surgery, or the architect of history's greatest escape? In the official records, he is dead. But in the mountains of Sinaloa and the villas of Chile, the legend says he is retired. They say he is watching the clouds from a patio he bought with a different name and a different face. The lesson of the Lord of the Skies is simple. Information is power. But silence is survival. Whether you are a drug lord in 1997 or a user browsing the web in 2025, the person who controls the narrative controls the world. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the intersection of crime, logistics, and identity, hit that subscribe button. We have a lot more cybercrime documentaries coming your way. From the hidden corners of the dark web to the biggest heists in digital history, I am the Digital Sleuth. Stay encrypted. Stay anonymous. And I will see you in the next investigation.